The grand chamber of the Galactic Council hung in space, orbiting the gleaming blue-green world of Centauri Prime. Inside the massive ring-shaped structure, 20 alien representatives sat around a circular table. Light from the nearby star filtered through crystal windows, casting rainbow patterns across the polished floor. Counselor Zixnera rose from her seat. Her blue scales shimmered as she gestured with 4 slender arms. The Veltraxian's voice carried clearly through the chamber. The humans have achieved faster than light travel, yet they remain primitive in their social development. Their history is stained with warfare and violence. I propose we bypass the standard invitation protocol and place them under the 1,000-year observation period. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Most counselors nodded in agreement. Only one figure stood in opposition. Counselor Ethlor of the Meridian Collective was the oldest member present. His skin was pale gray, and his large eyes reflected centuries of wisdom. "I must object," Ethlor said, his voice soft yet firm. "I have studied Earth transmissions for decades. Humans show remarkable adaptability and creativity. Yes, they are violent, but they also demonstrate compassion and cooperation that rivals our own. Excluding them could be a grave mistake." Zixnera flicked her tail dismissively. "Your fondness for underdeveloped species is well known, Ethlor, but the safety of the galactic community must come first. Humans are unpredictable. They might disrupt the peace we've maintained for 10,000 years." Far away, on the blue planet Earth, Dr. Olivia Mason sat in her small office at NASA headquarters. Dark circles under her eyes revealed her lack of sleep. For 3 weeks, she had detected unusual signals coming from Alpha Centauri. The patterns were too regular to be natural. She was certain they were artificial. The door opened, and Director Frank Harris walked in. His gray hair was neatly combed, and his face showed no emotion. "You wanted to see me, Dr. Mason." Olivia nodded eagerly and pointed to her computer screen. "Sir, these signals from Centauri. They're definitely artificial. I believe this could be first contact." Director Harris frowned as he looked at the screen. "Have you told anyone else about this?" "No, sir. I wanted your approval first." He straightened up. "Dr. Mason, I respect your expertise, but we need to be absolutely certain before making any announcements. The last thing we need is public panic over what might be instrument errors." "But sir, this is classified until further notice. Run more tests, check your equipment. If these signals persist for 6 more months, we'll form a committee to investigate." Back in the council chamber, the debate had ended. Ethlor stood alone as the votes were cast. One by one, holographic symbols appeared on the table. 19 votes to bypass Earth. 1 vote, Ethlor's, to extend an invitation. "The decision is made," announced the council overseer, a tall, mantis-like being. "Earth will remain uninvited for the standard observation period of 1,000 years. Signal broadcasts will cease immediately." Ethlor's shoulders sagged. "History will judge this moment harshly," he said. "When humans eventually join the galactic community on their own terms, they will remember that we chose to exclude them." Zixnera laughed. "If they survive their primitive tendencies long enough to join us at all." In her office, Olivia Mason watched as the strange signal suddenly stopped. She ran diagnostics, checked her equipment, and even called other observatories. Nothing. The signals had vanished as mysteriously as they had appeared. She saved her data anyway, storing it in a folder labeled Centauri Anomaly. Something told her this wasn't the end of the story. That night, as Earth rotated quietly in space, its people remained unaware of the decision made about their future. They continued their lives, building, fighting, loving, and creating. And unknown to the Galactic Council, human engineers were already developing technologies that would soon surprise the stars. In the silent council room, the echoes of their fateful vote lingered. A chance missed. A mistake made. The consequences would unfold across the stars for centuries to come. 20 years passed. The world changed in ways no one expected. Human technology leaped forward, driven by curiosity, and need rather than alien guidance. Alan Dawson stood in his cluttered workshop at the NASA Advanced Propulsion Lab. Scattered blueprints covered every surface. His brown hair was streaked with gray, and his hands were stained with engine grease. For 15 years, he had worked on the same problem: how to travel faster than light. "Alan, you need to see this," called Dr. Samantha Wells from across the room. Her excitement was clear in her voice. The physicist's eyes were wide as she checked the readings on her tablet. Alan hurried over. The test engine in the sealed chamber was glowing with a soft blue light. It wasn't supposed to do that. "The field is stable," Samantha said. "The test particle just traveled at 1.2 times the speed of light." Alan stared at the readings. "That's impossible." "Tell that to the particle," Samantha said with a grin. "It broke the laws of physics anyway." They looked at each other, both understanding what this meant. Humans had just discovered faster-than-light travel without any help from alien civilizations. 6 months later, the massive hangar at the lunar shipyards hummed with activity. Workers in spacesuits moved around the gleaming hull of Earth's first true interstellar ship. The words "Starship Horizon" were painted on its side in bold letters. Captain Peter Daniels floated up to the observation deck where his wife waited. Dr. Lisa Daniels was the ship's xenobiologist, though many joked she would never get to use her skills. "Ready for the big speech?" Lisa asked, taking his hand. Peter nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." His voice was steady, but his grip on her hand was tight. In 3 days, they would leave on mankind's first journey to another star. "Any regrets?" she asked softly. He looked at the ship, their home for the coming mission. "Not one." Far away on Centauri Prime, in a small office in the Council archives, junior diplomatic attaché Vrilshar sorted through old records. The young Meridian was fulfilling a request from his mentor, retrieving information about past Council decisions regarding pre-contact species. A file caught his attention. Earth. The file was thin, containing just a single vote record and a passionate speech from Councillor Ethlor from 20 years ago. Vrilshar read the warning with growing concern. "Exclude the humans, and they will develop without our guidance. They will grow in ways we cannot predict. Their innovation will not be bound by our traditions. When they finally reach the stars on their own, they will remember our silence as rejection." Vrilshar took the file to his superior, senior diplomat Krevta. The older Meridian reviewed it with a frown. "This is irrelevant now," Krevta said. "The humans have shown little progress. Their primitive rockets barely reach their own moon. But our monitoring stations report unusual energy readings from their system." Vrilshar insisted. "Perhaps we should. The Council has more important matters to address than a minor species under observation," Krevta said firmly. "Return the file to the archives." On Earth, crowds gathered to watch the launch of the Horizon. The ship rose on pillars of blue flame. Not chemical rockets, but the new Dawson Wells drive operating at low power. In orbit, the main engines would activate, tearing open a path through space itself. President Laura Kent stood at the podium, her voice carrying to billions of viewers worldwide. "Today, humanity takes its place among the stars. We go not knowing what we will find, but carrying with us the best of what we are." In the silent council room on Centauri Prime, no one noticed the alert from an automated monitoring system. It reported unusual energy readings from Sol system, consistent with rudimentary faster-than-light technology. The alert was automatically filed as a probable sensor error. The horizon vanished in a flash of blue light, leaving Earth behind. Humanity had taken its first steps into the galaxy, unnoticed by those who had chosen not to welcome them 20 years before. The horizon emerged from its faster-than-light jump near a small rocky planet orbiting a red star. No one on Earth knew this system was home to a mining outpost run by the Xelnar Confederation, a junior council race. On the bridge, Captain Peter Daniels straightened his uniform as the main screen showed their destination. "Status report," he said. "All systems normal, Captain," replied First Officer Steve Moore. "Jump was successful. We're exactly where we plan to be. Lisa Daniels studied the sensor readings at her station. Peter, there's something artificial in orbit around the fourth planet. It's definitely not natural. The bridge fell silent. Everyone had hoped for alien contact, but no one had truly expected it on their first journey. Confirmed, said the sensor officer. It appears to be a space station of some kind. Captain Daniels took a deep breath. This is what we prepared for. Communications, open all frequencies, standard greeting package. Maria Rodriguez, the communications specialist, nodded and activated the transmitter. Broadcasting in all known formats, Captain. Audio, video, mathematical sequences, and basic pictographs. Across space, on the Selnar mining station, Commander Greth Tor received the alert from his sensor operator. An unknown vessel had appeared out of nowhere. Impossible, Greth Tor said. His gray face showed concern. No jump gate was activated. Check again. Confirmed, Commander. The sensor operator insisted. The vessel is using no known drive signature. It's broadcasting some kind of message. Greth Tor's 4 eyes narrowed. The Galactic Council controlled all faster-than-light travel through the jump gate network. Any ship appearing without using a jump gate could only be one thing: pirates with stolen technology. Battle stations, he ordered. Charge weapons. This must be a new pirate trick. On the horizon, Maria looked confused. Captain, they're not responding to our greeting, but they're powering up energy weapons. Weapons, Peter said in disbelief. Are you sure? John Bennett, the security chief, checked his console. Confirmed. Their power signature is spiking in a way consistent with offensive systems. Raise shields, Peter ordered. Continue broadcasting peaceful intentions. Make it clear we mean no harm. Maria tried every frequency, every format. Without council translation matrices or first contact protocols, her efforts failed to bridge the gap. The first Selnar energy blast struck the horizon's shields, making the ship shudder. Shields at 85%, reported Bennett. They're preparing to fire again. Evasive maneuvers, ordered Peter. Return fire, minimal force. Target their weapons only. The horizon's defensive systems activated. Earth scientists, developing in isolation, had created weapons very different from standard council designs. The ship fired a precision pulse that sliced through the Selnar station's shields as if they weren't there. On the station, Greth Tor was thrown to the floor as systems exploded around him. How did they penetrate our shields? He shouted. Unknown, Commander. Their weapon type isn't in our database. A second blast disabled the station's main weapons. Greth Tor realized with horror that the pirates were far more advanced than any he had encountered before. On the horizon, damage reports came in from all decks. The experimental engines were hit. Engine stability at 40%, said the engineer on duty. We need to return home before the drive fails completely. Captain Daniels looked at the alien station on the screen. Their first contact had turned into disaster. Plot a course back to Earth. We need to warn them. As the horizon limped away, preparing for the jump home, Lisa joined her husband at the command chair. What went wrong? She asked quietly. Peter shook his head. I don't know. But one thing is clear. We're not alone in the galaxy, and not everyone wants to be friends. The horizon vanished in a flash of blue light, carrying with it humanity's first experience of alien life. Back on the damaged Selnar station, Greth Tor sent an urgent message to his superiors, reporting an encounter with an unknown species using impossible technology. The consequences of the Council's decision 20 years ago were beginning to echo across the stars. News of the horizon's encounter spread across Earth like wildfire. People gathered in homes, bars, and public squares to watch the footage. The damaged ship had limped home, carrying evidence that would change human history forever. They were not alone, and their first neighbors were not friendly. In the White House Situation Room, President Eric Morgan sat at the head of the table. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials filled every seat. Captain Peter Daniels stood at a screen, showing images of the alien station. They fired without warning, Peter explained. Our peaceful broadcasts were ignored or misunderstood. General Claire Wilson leaned forward. Her gray hair was cut short, and her eyes were sharp with focus. Mr. President, we need to prepare for the worst. If there's one alien outpost, there could be more. President Morgan nodded. I'm declaring a global state of alert. As of today, Earth stands united. We form the United Earth Defense Force. General Wilson took charge of the rapid militarization of Earth's space assets. Every ship was fitted with weapons based on the successful designs used by the Horizon. In a secure laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Kyle Mitchell worked day and night. His team had been given the damaged alien technology recovered from the Horizon's encounter. Young and brilliant, Kyle had a talent for understanding how things worked. Look at this, he said to his assistant. He pointed to a strange device connected to a computer. It's their communication system. I think I can access their network. Days later, Kyle's team made a breakthrough. They could now monitor transmissions from the alien civilization. Earth learned of the Galactic Council, the network of jump gates, and most importantly, the decision made 20 years ago to exclude humanity. President Morgan addressed the United Nations. The chamber was packed, and billions watched worldwide. We have learned that 20 years ago, an organization called the Galactic Council voted to ignore Earth. They chose to leave us in the dark, unprepared for the dangers of the galaxy. That decision led to our disastrous first contact. He paused, his voice becoming stronger. We come in peace, but we stand ready for war. The assembly erupted in applause. Engineers Diane Lewis and Gregory Patterson led the development of a human fleet. Without council technology to copy, humans created their own solutions. Their ships were smaller but faster, their weapons different but effective. The Galactic Council, meanwhile, faced a crisis. Reports from the Selmar outpost reached Centauri Prime, causing alarm among the counselors. An unknown species attacked one of our mining stations, announced Zix Nera, now the senior counselor. They used technology that bypassed our shields. Flor, now elderly but still serving on the council, stood slowly. What system did this occur in? When told, he closed his eyes briefly. That is near the Sol system, home of the humans we chose not to contact 20 years ago. The chamber grew quiet. Impossible, said Counselor Vex of the Tauran hegemony. They are primitives. They could not have achieved interstellar travel so quickly, let alone developed advanced weapons. They did it without our guidance, Ethlor said. I warned this council decades ago. Humans are adaptable and creative. Now they have developed independently, without our values, and most dangerously, without our limitations. The council ordered a full investigation. Monitoring ships were sent to observe Earth from a distance. What they saw shocked them. Humans had built a fleet of 30 warships. They had developed faster-than-light technology without using jump gates. They had united their planet in preparation for galactic interaction. We must contain this threat before it spreads, Zix Nera demanded. They are dangerous and unpredictable. Ethlor shook his head sadly. You still do not understand. We created this situation with our arrogance. If humans are now a threat, it is because we chose to make them one by excluding them when they reached for the stars. On Earth, the first fleet of human warships prepared for launch. Humanity was ready to take its place in the galaxy, invited or not. Earth's diplomatic vessels launched into space, each carrying trained negotiators. Ambassador William Carter led the mission aboard the ship Olive Branch. His gray hair and calm demeanor gave him a trustworthy appearance that Earth's leaders hoped would help in alien negotiations. Remember, William told his team during their final briefing, we attempt peaceful contact first. Always. Dr. Heather Evans, the cultural specialist, nodded. Her expertise was in understanding different societies. The aliens might have completely different values and communication styles. We need to be patient. Paul Jackson, the strategic advisor, was less optimistic. The former military officer kept a hand near his sidearm at all times. Patience is good, but so is caution. The Selnar shot first last time. The Olive Branch and 5 other diplomatic vessels headed for known council worlds. William's team prepared detailed greeting messages in every format they could imagine. They hoped someone would listen. Most council races refused direct communication with the human ships. When the Olive Branch approached the Veltraxian colony on Proxima Centauri II, orbital platforms locked weapons on the ship. "They're warning us away," said Paul, watching the alien weapon systems. William sighed. "Move on to the next target." Record that the Veltraxians declined peaceful contact. After similar rejections at 4 other systems, the human fleet approached Meridian space. Here, something different happened. A small ship came out to meet them, broadcasting on frequencies the humans could understand. "This is Vril Shar of the Meridian Collective," came the message. "We will speak with you." William could hardly believe it. "Respond immediately. Express our gratitude." The human delegation was permitted to dock at a Meridian outpost. William, Heather, and Paul walked carefully into a large, circular room. 3 Meridians waited for them. The aliens were tall with gray skin and large, thoughtful eyes. "I am Vril Shar," said the youngest Meridian. "This is Elder Krevta and honored advisor Ethlor." William bowed slightly. "I am Ambassador William Carter of Earth. We come seeking peaceful relations." Ethlor, visibly ancient even to human eyes, stepped forward. 20 years ago, I argued against excluding your world from council contact. I was outvoted. Through this single channel, humanity learned the full truth about the council's structure, the vote that had excluded Earth, and their status as dangerous outsiders. "Why would the council fear us?" asked Heather during one meeting. "We only wanted to join the galactic community." Ethlor's large eyes seemed sad. "The council fears what it cannot control. Your development path was unexpected. You created faster than light travel without jump gates. Your weapons work differently than ours. You are unpredictable. Does the entire council feel this way?" William asked. Krevta spoke for the first time. "No. Some, like the Meridians, believe in peaceful engagement. Others." He trailed off, but Vril Shar finished the thought. "Others are preparing for war. Grand Admiral Krex of the Veltraxian military leads a faction calling for your containment." "Containment?" Paul asked sharply. "What does that mean?" "They are assembling a fleet," Vril Shar explained. "Their plan is to force Earth to disarm and submit to council authority." William's face paled. "How much time do we have?" "Not long," said Ethlor. "Weeks, perhaps." William sent an urgent message to Earth. President Morgan called an emergency meeting with General Wilson and the military command. "We tried peace," the president said grimly. "Now we prepare for their containment fleet." General Wilson nodded. "The fleet is ready, sir. We've positioned our ships at the edge of the solar system." On a Meridian communication station, Vril Shar made a difficult decision. Against direct orders, he transmitted detailed information about the council fleet to his human contacts. The plans showed 200 vessels from 17 species, all heading for Earth. "They deserve a chance," Vril Shar told himself as he sent the data. "The council's mistake should not cost human lives." Across the void of space, 2 forces prepared to meet. The council, expecting to discipline an upstart species. Humanity, ready to defend its right to exist among the stars. The human fleet hung in the darkness at the edge of the solar system. 30 vessels formed a protective line around Earth's orbital space. Captain Susan Martinez stood on the bridge of the flagship Defiance, studying tactical displays. "All ships report ready, Captain," said her second-in-command. Susan nodded. At 42, she had spent her entire adult life in space, but never imagined she would command Earth's first line of defense against alien invaders. "Connect me to all ships," she ordered. When the channel opened, she spoke clearly. "This is Captain Martins. Today we defend not just Earth, but humanity's right to exist among the stars. Hold formation. Follow your training. Remember, we only fire if fired upon." Back on Earth, Dr. Richard Cooper monitored the planet's defense grid from a bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The engineering genius had created a network of orbital platforms that could intercept alien ships if they broke through the fleet. "Defense grid at full power," he reported to General Wilson. "But if their fleet is as large as our intelligence suggests, the grid won't hold for long." General Wilson's face was grim on the video screen. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." In space, the human sensors detected a massive energy surge. The Council fleet had arrived. Susan leaned forward in her command chair. "Steady. Maintain positions. Open communication channels." The Council containment fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in a spectacular display of light. 200 vessels of various sizes and designs formed a wall of alien technology facing the much smaller human fleet. Admiral Zexthal stood on the command deck of the Veltraxian dreadnought Righteous Authority. His 4 eyes narrowed as he viewed the human ships. "Such a small fleet," he said with confidence. "This will be simple. The primitives have only 30 vessels." His tactical officers studied the readings with concern. "Admiral, their ships are different from our intelligence reports. They appear to have modified their technology significantly." "It does not matter," Zexthal said dismissively. "We have the combined might of 17 Council races. Open a channel to their lid vessel." On the Defiance, Susan received the incoming transmission. "They're hailing us, Captain." "On screen," she ordered. Admiral Zexthal's alien face appeared. His blue scales shimmered under the lights of his bridge. "Human vessels, this is Admiral Zexthal of the Galactic Council. Your unauthorized technological development has been deemed a threat to galactic security. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will be met with force." Susan rose from her chair. "This is Captain Susan Martins of Earth. We have attempted peaceful contact multiple times and been rejected. We have the right to develop as we choose. We have no hostile intentions toward the Council, but we will defend ourselves if attacked." The Admiral's face showed what might have been amusement. "You have no choice in this matter. The Council has decided." "We were never given a voice in that decision," Susan replied firmly. "We request peaceful negotiations." "The time for negotiation has passed," Zexthal said. "You have 1 hour to comply." The screen went dark. Susan turned to her tactical officer. "Prepare all defensive systems. Implement strategy Galileo." Throughout the human fleet, crews prepared for battle. Unlike standard Council vessels, which relied on similar technologies shared among member races, each human ship had been designed with different tactical capabilities. Some specialized in speed, others in stealth, others in defensive shields. The Council expected standard tactics from what they considered a primitive species. They would find something very different. On Earth, President Morgan watched the situation unfold from the command center. "General Wilson, if our fleet fails, how long can Earth hold out?" General Wilson didn't sugarcoat her answer. "Against 200 ships. Days at most, sir." The President nodded grimly. "Then we must ensure our fleet does not fail." As the deadline approached, tension built on both sides. The Council fleet moved into attack formation, weapons charged. The human ships remained in their defensive positions, ready for the coming storm. The stars watched in silence as 2 civilizations prepared for a battle that would change the course of galactic history. The Council fleet fired first. Energy beams streaked across space toward the human ships. Admiral Zexthal smiled, expecting quick destruction of the primitive vessels. His smile faded as he watched the human ships respond. Instead of staying in formation, they scattered in seemingly random patterns. The energy beams missed most targets. Those ships that were hit activated unusual shield systems that adapted to the energy type being used against them. "What is happening?" demanded Zexthal. Why aren't they following standard defense protocols? His tactical officer looked confused. They appear to be using unpredictable movement patterns. Our targeting systems can't keep up. The human fleet's response came next. Instead of firing all at once, each ship used different weapons. Some fired energy beams that shifted frequency to bypass shields. Others launched missiles that split into smaller projectiles just before impact. A third group released clouds of tiny drones that attached to council ships and disrupted their sensor systems. "Target the largest human vessel," ordered Zexthal. "Concentrate all fire." 20 council ships focused their weapons on the Defiance. Captain Martinez felt her ship shudder under the assault. "Shields holding at 60%, reported her tactical officer. Implementing countermeasures. The Defiance released a burst of charged particles that created a temporary visual distortion field. To the council ships, it appeared as if the Defiance had multiplied into 5 identical vessels. "Which one is real?" shouted Zexthal as his gunners tried to track the targets. By the battle's first hour, the council fleet had lost 27 ships. The human fleet had lost only 3. Admiral Zexthal couldn't understand what was happening. How could these primitives be defeating the combined might of 17 advanced species? On Earth, Dr. Nathan Wright watched the battle data in the Strategic Command Center. As head of Earth's Synapsychology Division, he had advised the military on alien tactics. The council races all developed using shared technology, he explained to President Morgan. They think alike, fight alike. They expected us to do the same. The president nodded. But we developed in isolation. Exactly, said Dr. Wright. They excluded us from their standardized development path. They're fighting according to rules we never learned, while we're using approaches they never considered. Ambassador William Carter watched from a Meridian observation post as the battle unfolded. Elder Ethlor stood beside him. Your people fight well, the ancient alien said quietly. William shook his head. We didn't want to fight at all. We wanted a voice. I know, Ethlor replied. That is why I advocated for you 20 years ago. After 3 hours of battle, the council fleet had lost a third of its ships. Admiral Zexthal faced a decision he never expected to make. Order the fleet to regroup, he commanded reluctantly. We will withdraw to safe distance and request new orders from the council. As the remaining council ships pulled back, Captain Martinez resisted the urge to pursue. Hold positions, she ordered her fleet. Let them go. Once the council fleet was at a safe distance, Ambassador Carter broadcast a message across all frequencies. His face appeared on screens throughout the council fleet. This is Ambassador William Carter of Earth. We did not choose this conflict. We were not given a voice when you decided our fate. Now we demand what should have been offered freely. Recognition as a sovereign species, representation on the council, and guarantees against further aggression. The message continued. We extend an invitation to the Galactic Council to send diplomatic representatives to Earth. We remain open to peaceful relations despite today's events. In the council chamber, emergency alarms sounded as news of the battle's outcome reached Centauri Prime. Counselors hurried to their seats, faces showing shock and disbelief. Impossible, exclaimed Counselor Vex. How could our fleet be defeated? In the center of the room, where 20 years ago they had dismissed humanity as unworthy, the council faced a reality they never anticipated. Humans would not be ignored. The room that had once been silent about humanity's potential now echoed with the consequences of that silence. 10 years passed since the battle that changed everything. The new Galactic Council chamber was larger than the old one. Its circular design allowed all members equal positions, with no head or foot to the table. Every voice had equal weight in the acoustically perfect room. Counselor Laura Martins of Earth sat at her place in the chamber. Her dark hair was streaked with silver, and her eyes carried the wisdom of someone who had helped forge peace from conflict. Beside her sat her advisor, Ben Ramirez, a former engineer who had helped design the Defiance's defensive systems. The trade proposal from the Xelnar looks promising, Ben said quietly. Their mining technology paired with our FTL drive designs could open the outer rim to exploration. Laura nodded. Prepare the details for next week's session. It had taken 3 years of tense negotiations before the Council formally accepted humanity as a member. The vote had been close, with the Meridians casting the deciding vote in Earth's favor. Now, 10 years later, human technologies had transformed galactic society. The most important contribution was the Martinez-Dawson FTL drive, named after Captain Susan Martinez and Engineer Alan Dawson. Unlike the ancient jumpgate system, these drives allowed ships to travel independently between stars. Suddenly, colonies that had been isolated from the network became accessible. Trade flourished in regions previously considered unreachable. In a hospital on Meridian Prime, Dr. Lisa Daniels supervised a team of human and alien doctors. They were implementing a new treatment for a disease that had plagued the Veltraxian colonies for centuries. The cure had been developed using a combination of Earth medical techniques and Meridian biological knowledge. "The patient's readings are stabilizing," Lisa said. "The treatment is working." Across the room, a young Veltraxian doctor watched with amazement. "We had accepted this disease as incurable for generations," she said. "Yet in just 10 years of collaboration, we found a solution." The old council chamber had been preserved as a museum. Today, a special ceremony took place there. The historical recording of the original vote to exclude humanity was played for a group of new diplomatic trainees from various species. A holographic image of a younger Zixnera appeared, arguing against human inclusion. Then came Ethlor's solitary defense of the unknown humans. The final vote, 19-1 to exclude. When the recording ended, an elderly Ethlor addressed the silent trainees. "This room witnessed a mistake born of fear and prejudice. We chose silence when we should have extended a hand in greeting. Remember this lesson. Exclusion creates enemies. Inclusion creates allies." Later that day, Ethelor visited Earth as an honored guest. Despite his advanced age, he had accepted the invitation to speak at the 10th anniversary celebration of the Earth Council Peace Treaty. At a small gathering before the main event, he met a retired Dr. Olivia Mason, who had detected the original Council signals decades ago. "I heard something, but nobody listened," she told him, her wrinkled face showing no bitterness, only curiosity about what might have been. Ethlor nodded slowly. "In one silent room, we made a mistake that changed the galaxy forever. But perhaps it was not a mistake after all, merely a different path to the same destination." They stood together on a balcony overlooking New Geneva, where the United Earth Government headquarters stood alongside the new Galactic Embassy complex. Ships from dozens of worlds moved through the sky above. In orbit, a new type of vessel prepared for its maiden voyage. The exploration ship Unity contained crew members from 15 species, including humans. Its mission was to explore the galaxy's edge, seeking new civilizations. Captain Amy Foster addressed her diverse crew on the bridge. "Our mission carries a special responsibility. When we find new species reaching for the stars, we will not be silent. We will not make the mistake the Council once made with Earth. We will extend friendship first." As the Unity engaged its engines and departed, Earth and the galaxy looked toward a future where no voice would go unheard, and no potential ally would face a silent room when they reached for the stars. **The End*.